Welcome to Movie World, the place where we only talk movies. I'm Andy Signor, and today I'm reviewing Chaos Walking, starring Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland. Now, here you have Ray and Spider-Man in a movie, and I feel like not enough people know this movie's even coming out. I knew of this movie. I've been paying attention. I liked the trailer, actually. Thought it was a cool concept, but the reason I had been paying attention to this movie was for the director. Doug Liman directed this film, and he made Edge of Tomorrow, which I love. This movie's nowhere near as good as that, so don't get hyped, but I bring him up because I think he's the reason this movie does work. Doug Liman, if you're unfamiliar, he's made some great films of Swingers, Go, Bourne Identity. I loved Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I even enjoyed Jumper with Hayden Christensen. This movie's far closer to that one. Sort of interesting concept. Okay movie. And he also did that movie American Made, which I thought was good. And he's going to go to space with Tom Cruise to do the SpaceX movie coming up. So the reason I bring that up is Doug Liman is a director that I think managed to make a movie concept work that I think otherwise maybe wouldn't have. The film is based on a young adult book series called Chaos Walking. There's 3 books. I haven't read the books, full disclosure. I did read some of the synopsises, and it does seem like they did take some liberties. That said, the author of the book, Patrick Ness, was involved in the adaptation of the most recent version of the screenplay that is out in the world. But the problem with this movie for a lot of people, as I put a sort of a feeler out in my Twitter to sort of see what you guys were thinking, is this movie is just sort of marred with production drama. This movie took a while to get going. They shot this movie back in, I think it was ready to go back in like 2017. And then in 2018, after the film was sort of ready to go, they had to do massive reshoots, accordingly to this old article from Hollywood Reporter. Now, when I did a little digging deeper. Sorry. I learned it was more about the fact that, again, it seems like the problem was more with the test screening was they didn't figure out how to convey the gimmick of the movie, which is that the men's thoughts are out loud. And they needed to sort of figure out a way to show that in the film more clearly for the test audience, along with sort of doing some other scenes to convey it. Now, the film, again, Daisy Ridley stars as this woman who crash lands on this planet. And on this planet, it's all men, and the men's thoughts can be seen over them. Like, they cannot keep their thoughts to themselves. In fact, the opening of and sort of you can sort of see here how they try to sort of show it. It's called The Noise. And as the film starts with a quote, the quote is, "The noise is a man's thoughts unfiltered. And without a filter, a man is just chaos walking, unknown new world settler." So it's this idea that, men need to control their thoughts, which it's true. I mean, everybody, men and women both do. But imagine a world, a colony where it's just a bunch of guys and you can hear each other no matter what. You can't hide what you're thinking. Like, you walk by another guy and you say what you're thinking, and then that act tough. That's sort of what's happening as you're sort of hearing the thoughts amongst us. So again, it's a concept that sounds like it either would work or probably wouldn't work. But in the hands of Doug Liman, I got to say, the gimmick works. I did enjoy the thoughts, and I enjoyed it especially because of Tom Holland. It was brilliant casting. He's a young character in the movie. You're sort of watching him innocently sort of figure out how to become a man in this world where you can't have any secrets. You can't hide any feelings. They all sort of are expressed, and you have to be tough or fight, or you have to try to hold up, and sometimes you can't. And so it works because of Tom Holland's sort of innocent character. I have to say, kudos to him. He's great in this film. And Daisy Ridley works as well. Daisy Ridley sort of thrusted into a world where all the men around her are screaming at her through thoughts, and she can hear them all. And you kind of imagine that would be kind of terrifying, especially if a lot of these men have never seen a woman before. Now, again, all this is interesting because it's very similar to another YA franchise called The Maze Runner. A bunch of dudes stuck in a maze, and then a woman shows up. So that's where it's sort of the film does lose me a bit, in that to go to this other sort of world with this sort of high concept idea, and I guess the book sets it in these colony in the woods, so it's not the film's fault, but it does sort of, it's sort of as a bummer that we didn't get to see a little bit more of a futuristic sci-fi place. It really does feel like they're just running around the woods a lot. And when you want to go see a big, cool sci-fi epic movie, I don't know, it just doesn't play the same. It plays very Maze Runner, but even the Maze Runner had those sort of maze scenes and the creatures in the maze that sort of took it, and then you find out there's like an apocalyptic place, and it made it seem a little bit more exciting. And even the Hunger Games, I feel like they sort of showed you district to district, and then the town had a little bit more futuristic. With the Hunger Games, it was like, all right, we're putting them in the woods to battle, so they sort of justified why they were not somewhere cooler. And Chaos Walking is literally feels at times like a Western, which, given sort of the future guns and the spaceship that crashes and other things, I wish they would have given us something different to see. But that's, again, my personal criticism of why the film feels a little familiar and sort of like I've seen this before, even though the gimmick is something I hadn't really seen done this way. The film, again, Tom Holland is solid. They both are solid. Daisy and Tom are solid. And so is Mads Mikkelsen, who plays the town's mayor or sheriff, whatever it is. And he's clearly a bad guy. You can tell from the scar in his face. As you learn, the town is holding secrets and things. And again, that was another problem I had with the film, where the secrets are pretty easy to guess. The film definitely has a predictability to it that is a bummer. I was hoping for some more bigger, cooler world-building secrets, but at the end of the day, no, it doesn't. So all of this said, like, didn't make me hate the film, but like to see sort of a Tom Sawyer raft chase was just weird, you know. It's that, just be prepared for that, maybe, is what I wanted to warn you of, so you don't go in sort of expecting a sci-fi film, which is what I think some of the marketing of the film is sort of trying to make it feel like. It's like, look at the planets and the cool space thing. No, they're in the woods and on rocks and in rivers throughout most of the movie. That said, between that and the fact that the story beats are a little predictable, it does sort of bring my review down a bit, where I was hoping to be a little bit more excited about the film. I do give Doug Liman credit for sort of pulling the gimmick off. I can't imagine that was easy to figure out. How do you do this in a way that's not super distracting? I watched a screener, and I wish I had subtitles, because I probably would have pulled a lot more. I prefer reading. I prefer my movies always having subtitles when I stream now. It's made me watch the movie a little bit better, and I can never miss a sort of a line. And this is one of those movies where a lot of it's sort of quiet in the mix, and it would have been helpful to sort of see what these thoughts were saying sooner. I had to go back a couple times, be like, what they say? So when you watch it at home, maybe turn the subtitles on, you'll catch more to it than I did. But overall, like, those critiques away, I didn't hate the film. I got to be honest. The film was interesting. The idea of this noise was fun. Do I think they've built a franchise? No. And that was clearly Lionsgate's goal here. Why they invested in reshoots. They had two big actors from two big franchises. I think they were clearly hoping this would become a trilogy, just like the books. And I don't see it picking up the way they hoped it would. And I can see why they sort of want to just put it out and get it out, because all these movies that are being held on to the studio, they're just gathering dust, and they just seem less exciting, if we're being honest. Like Black Widow, I feel like, sure, I'm excited, we're all going to watch it, but Black Widow, it's like, hasn't it already come out? Like, are you over that? Haven't we seen that one already? I don't think holding on to these movies longer is going to help them. Releasing them, streaming them, getting in select theaters if you can safely go to the theaters, I think is a wise move. And I think right now, without a lot of movies out there to watch, Chaos Walking is a good, fun distraction. It's a fun adventure with a sci-fi twist, with two big actors that pull off the roles, directed well. It's not a bad film for me. It wasn't a bad film. There was a few funny moments where they used the noise. There's a few silly moments, but overall, yeah, just go in, I think, low expectations if you want a sort of distraction, sort of a sci-fi element. If everything I've sort of been telling you sounds intriguing, go enjoy it. Check it out. Watch it when it's either in theaters, if you can watch it safely, or when it hits one of the streaming platforms, which I'm sure it will at some point. This is Lionsgate. I forget who they have a deal with. That might be actually Paramount. I think Lionsgate, or no, that was... I don't know who Lionsgate's deal with, but I'm sure they've made a deal to have some sort of streaming rights after they sort of tried to sell it and other things that they're probably trying to do. But overall, yeah, look, I'd say if I start adding like a rating scale for you guys to sort of understand where I really like the movie, I'd say on a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give this one a 6.5. So it's like I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it, but it was harmless. But I think a 7 and above, I'd be more like, yeah, that was fun. 6.5 is like right above there where I'm like, yeah, it distracted me. I'm just not going to complain about it, but there were some things that could have made it better. Those are my thoughts. If you like these types of things, reviews, movie-only content, maybe consider subscribing here to Movie World. It's my second channel, Popcorn Planets, where I do all my commentary and news coverage. But smash that button. Leave a comment down below to help the engagement of this video because my reviews haven't been performing over the other channel. So I thought, you know what? Let's just talk movies over here. Have fun. No other drama. Just movies. Movies, trivia, lots more coming here on Movie World. So thanks for watching, everybody. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Are you going to check this film out? What makes you excited about this film? Or are you not going to check it out? Leave all your thoughts down below. Thanks again for watching.